Look at these woods. All the fallen trees. All the dead wood. Some new spruce trees coming up. A lot of dead poplar. Fallen. A lot of standing dead wood. I'm told this is leased land. They got cattle and horses grazing here. There's meadows that have been cleared for them to graze on. And they do saw down, some of the dead wood and stack it up and use it for firewood, I presume. But there is a lot in these woods. I'm out here by myself, walking around. Think of the forest fires in Alberta last year. People say, well, a lot of it was arson. I believe it was. See, these were cut. Probably to clear this path. But a lot of it has fallen naturally. Before forest management came, if you can call it that, forest fires would have raged over North America all year round and naturally cleared out the land. But fire suppression, of course, allowed a lot of dead wood to build up in the woods. So now when we have a fire, it gets out of control really fast because there's so much dead wood lying around. When it gets dry enough, boom. Now, the narrative that the news media likes to push, and the politicians, is it's all climate change. It's all climate change. We have to tax you. We have to tax you. Well, is that tax money doing anything to clear out the dead wood? No. Not. And this is land that, a farmer is using to graze his cattle. So he's managing it as best he can. Think of the forests to the west and north of here, where no one is using them. And fires have been suppressed for decades. That is the real problem, the real reason why we have forest fires that get out of hand. You know, this here is a clearing. You know, this is obviously some people picked this shrub, these branches, and tossed them here. There's a lot of dead wood. A lot of standing, even dead spruce that is standing further to the south that I was walking through this morning. It's foolish to blame climate change for the big forest fires when really we've been suppressing fire for so long. I remember where I grew up on the farm and visiting the farm a few years ago. We couldn't even walk through the woods. It was so thick with carriganus. We were looking for, me and my brother were looking for the grandfather's cabin. And we couldn't find it. We walked in circles and it was only a few acres of land. And now last year the farmer cleared those trees and now grandfather's cabin is gone. Right now I am south of Calgary near Pritis. I rented a cabin for the weekend out here and I've got all these woods basically to myself, just me. There's a few horses around, some cattle off in the distance. And I'm walking through the woods by myself. I'm seeing all this dead wood. And this really isn't much compared to what it must be like in the deep forest. Back to Saskatchewan and the carriganas. Carriganas are not native to North America. They were brought over from Russia by the settlers. They were a nice shrubbery to put around the house, but they multiply like crazy, and they are unkept, and they just strangle the forest, and they die, and it becomes really thick. With branches. You know, carriganas are like that shrubbery that people have around their yards. They usually trim it back, make a hedge. But when you're not trimming it, they grow like 8 feet, 10 feet tall, spread in every direction, like a weed. I don't see any carriganas here, but just talking about, see, this one is still a living tree, but the lower branches are all dead here. Some of these trees are ready to fall over. And of course a lot have fallen and are rotting and drying. Nature is the process. And we need to live with nature. And putting a tax does nothing. To clean up these forests. Just some thoughts.